Power 104.7.
Rise and shine, St. Paul. Start your day the Power Way. The Wake Up on Power 104.7 FM. Monday through Friday from 8 to 10. Let's go. Let's go.
Wake up, this is the wake up.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yes,
welcome to the Wake Up on Power 104.7.
Yes,
It's
sir.
9 o'clock. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for that interview that we've been excited for all morning and all week, y'all. Like we told y'all, Eric Roberson will be in Minnesota at the Dakota July 2nd.
Next week. On Thursday.
Yes. But he is giving us the honor to interview with the Wake Up crew. So with that being said, Mr. Eric, are you there?
I'm here. How y'all doing?
Hi.
Give us some claps on that one.
Yes. How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I'm here in New York for a show, and it's wrapping up, getting ready to come to Minnesota.
Oh, exciting. How's the tour going so far?
Everything's good, man. Everything's been going great. The old songs been feeling good. The new songs been feeling good. The crowds have been enjoying it. So having a great time, man.
Man, I love that for you. So let's just dive right into it because a lot of people know you as the king of independent R&B, right? You've been one of the most successful independent careers in the last, 3 decades of R&B. Can you let us know a little bit of how you got into the business?
Well, I got signed to a record deal when I was 19 at Warner Brothers. I was just in college. I was following the footsteps of the group Shy. Had And If I Ever Fall, that big record.
Mm-hmm.
Good friends of mine, and they passed my my demo tape to somebody in LA, and before you know, the phone started ringing. And that was a quick, deal that was okay, but it worked out, but it didn't work out all the way. Went back to finish school and got in the business as a songwriter producer, and worked for a lot of people, but always had kind of a different idea of what I wanted to do musically. But I had already had record deals. I already kind of went that way. So what happens if I put my records out? I wasn't the first, by no means, to put out a record independently.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the difference was once I got to a certain level of success, not going with the majors and staying independent was kind of the different path that I did. And we stayed independent for 20-something plus years, and it's been a great ride.
Nice. So what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna do this thing on my own? What made you bet on yourself and become an independent artist?
As a producer and a writer, I worked on so many albums that never came out. And it's different now. This independent music is so popular that if you want to release a record, you can release a record right now. But back then there was only a few options to release stuff. But if you had a record deal on Sony and made a whole album and then the album didn't come out, and that album could have very well changed the course of music. It would have been super impactful. And there was a lot of music being made and not coming out. And I just didn't want to be a part of that. I was like, man, we called it lost art. And for me, I'd rather give it away for free before it never comes out. And, I think independent music in other genres like rock and roll and even in hip-hop was doing well and growing, but in R&B it was kind of unheard of. Because R&B at the time was such a cash cow on the major labels. But, I think the main goal was just try to bet on yourself, man. I think that was the main thing. And also, if I'm being honest, I had too many songs that were too personal to sell. I think that was the other part where you write a song about, a bad breakup you went through and it's almost like your journal. It's like sometimes it's a little hard to give to somebody and have somebody else sing to the world.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. When it came down to the start of the independent side, do you think it's harder to reach or touch people independently compared to having that big label machine behind you pushing your product?
Yeah, it's harder in the beginning, of course. I think, there's a lot of, if you're on a major, you have a, tour support, you have a whole building office that's pushing to radio plans and things of that nature. And, for me, when I first started, we had to just go to cities to try to just win people over. I mean, I was going into cities where no one knew who I was. We had to sell the whole idea. And then at the end of the show, I'm standing at the door holding a CD up like, hey, man, if you dug it, support. And what I will tell you is that we built a lot of these cities from, 50 people the first time we performed there to, 2,000 people at a show now, 3,000 people. The day before we do Minnesota, we're doing Detroit, and I believe we're going to have about 2,000-3,000 people there that night. So you see how these things build up, and each city's different. But I think you take your wins and losses the best way you can. I think as whether you're assigned to a major or independent. But I will tell you that the blessing, what I feel, is that I've earned every single fan I have. Like, literally, one at a time, we've almost earned every single body. And I think that means more. It's more impactful for me.
Yes, for sure. Let's get a little bit into the songwriting, because you've written for major names like Jill Scott, Musiq Soulchild, Carl Thomas, 112, and so many to add to that list. Do you approach writing for yourself compared to others differently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me say that what's so interesting, in the beginning, I would write a lot of times, like, okay, even before I met with somebody, let's say Mary J. Blige was working on a new record, and we knew she was working on it. It was almost kind of like real estate, like what you're investing in. So I might spend a whole week just writing songs for Mary J. Blige. But the crazy thing is that I'll write a song for Mary J. Blige, and then it ends up landing on, like, Glenn Lewis or somebody, right? So it's like, you just never know, but that would be your anchor, what I was aiming at. I was aiming at Usher, I was aiming at Beyonce, I was aiming at Jill Scott or whatever. And sometimes they would take it, sometimes they wouldn't. But if I had the fortune, if I really wanted to work the way I wanted it to, I would love to, like, spend a day or two with an artist, find out what they're going through, and then write from that perspective. That's probably the best way to do it. And then further down into my career, I think I had a certain sound, a certain style that people knew I was known for. So now they're calling for that style. But when I was just getting into business, I was okay. Oh man, I'm probably meeting with Jasmine Sullivan. Let me write some songs that I think would fit in this realm. I was kind of aiming at different people. Writing for myself is kind of like, what am I feeling like today? So that same way I would want to spend some time with an artist, I think kind of I spend some time with myself, and that's kind of how I find songs for myself.
Okay.
All right, dope. Has there ever been a song you wrote that you would have wanted to keep for yourself?
No. I would honestly tell you, if I gave a song to an artist, I am willing to give it. Like, when I'm in a studio for another artist, my best goal is, let me write the best song. Let me try to send them over to another level. I'm really focused on giving them the best work. Now, what I will tell you, if a song didn't work out, I have no problem taking it back. Like that has happened. If I tell you, like, Musiq Soulchild, I have a song called Pretty Girl. It's an older song, but Musiq cut it for one of his albums, and it didn't make his album. And I took the song back and put it on my album. But if he used it, he would have had it. There would have been no problem. I think the goal as a songwriter or as a producer, or anything that you're walking in, you should walk in trying to serve the art and the person that you're working for at that time. And so yeah, man, I'm trying to write the best song I can write for that person. But whatever we come up with, I'm satisfied.
All right. Is there a song that's out or that was out within the past, 20 years that you wish you would have wrote?
Oh my God, a million of them. Jasmine Sullivan's Mascara. Even Raheem, resubmitted his song "You," which is just a great song. Every word of this song is gonna be about you. Bilal, Sometimes.
Okay.
I'm constantly, that's really what motivates me when I get a new project or I open up an album. I'm searching for the song I wish I wrote. Erykah Badu's Bag Lady, Songwriting 101. That's just Songwriting 101. So we could spend this entire interview just talking about, like, songs of, like, oh my God, I wish I wrote that song. How did they come up with that? And, I'm really a student, but a super fan of the art of combining words. So I'm always, curious how somebody put something together.
Right. I feel it. All right. So, you're happily married, correct?
Yes, we have 17 years.
Wow, beautiful.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to that. So
Thank
with
you.
with you being a love writer, and most of your music is R&B, so speaking of relationships and all of that, does your own or has your own relationship inspired a lot of your music?
Yes, yeah. My wife is my favorite subject. I will tell you that. And first of all, I appreciate her, and I appreciate how much she tolerates, right? Because she also knows that, and even earlier on, listen, if we had an argument, it's probably showing up in music. It's probably gonna show up in a song. So really telling our story to the entire world, and truth be told, everybody around us. Like if we're out to dinner and we're having dinner with another couple and they share a story, my wife would kind of give me a look like, I know you going to the studio tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's like I'm like, oh man. So I think the brother who the friend who kind of felt like they were kind of being a player too long and kind of missed their timeline or might have missed their soulmate. I wrote about that, like observing friends. My boy who came over was having a kid for the first time. I didn't have kids yet, but I wrote about that perspective. So I think, I write about my wife all the time, but I just can't write about my life all the time. You gotta kind of take what else you get, I mean, when I watch a movie, I'm writing about that movie, or I turn the sound off and I write to what I'm visualizing. As a songwriter, you got to pull from everywhere you can. Every time I stop at a red light, I feel like it's an opportunity to write about something. There's going to be a couple walking across the street or something. So I'm always observing, looking for that next piece of inspiration.
Absolutely. Why the love music? Like a lot of R&B artists kind of fall into more like seductive. For example, we were talking about this earlier. Did you get a chance to watch the verses yesterday with B2K and Pretty Ricky?
No, I was on stage yesterday, so I saw
that's
a
right.
couple of clips.
Okay.
I saw a couple of clips, but I heard it got a little heated at different times at some exchange, but yeah, I missed it. But those are two big groups, man. So I'm glad they had a chance to kind of showcase themselves.
Yeah, for sure. So I bring that up to ask, in a situation like that where B2K kind of had more like, I love you, I care about you, I want to get to know you music, where Pretty Ricky kind of got straight to the point, like, I want to love you down, right? So why did you choose more of like I love you music compared to seductive, explicit music?
I think it's what related to me the most growing up is the music. I mean, I love, there's a time and place, I guess, for every piece of music. And I might have had, even if I was writing something seductive, can I make it in a way where there's more layers to it or just not as obvious, But some people write from an obvious perspective. I think you need all of that. The same way in movies, you need, action movies, you need drama, you need, suspense, you need horror. I think it's the same way from a songwriting standpoint, that there's so many levels you can write on love. And sometimes somebody needs to be cuddled and caressed and loved patiently, and somebody sometimes needs to get their hair pulled. You know what I mean? so try to write from every single perspective. But I also say I appreciate every single perspective. I mean, I think that's the beautiful thing about music, is that you're never going to run out of subjects. There's a million ways to talk about something, and there's a million different angles, and people are brilliant that way,
Agreed.
Not only just how they put it together, but also how you listen to it. The fact that someone will listen to a song and go, oh, I heard this. Like, you heard that? How did, I'm amazed that you were able to pull that out of that song. So, there's a time and place. But for me, I've always leaned towards taking my time and writing about, the deeper part of love.
Absolutely. I love that. All right, well, let's get into this tour, right? The Beautifully All Over the Place tour. Where did that title come from? Because I really love that.
So I wrote a book at the same time. It's also titled Beautifully All Over the Place. And it really started with the book first, but it was also just where I was at over the last 3 years, had ups and downs with family health, but been fortunate to have my dreams come true. My kids are doing well. So, man, I'm celebrating, I'm crying, I'm laughing, I'm dancing. And then at the same time, I've been doing music for over 30 years. So, the limitations are off, man. If I want to make a dance song, if I want to make a rock song, if I want to make a freaky song, if I want to make a harp, like, I was all over the place creatively. And I made about 100 songs in the last 3 years, and 10 of them went on this album.
Okay.
You know, so just a celebration, man. Like just really trying to acknowledge and celebrate where my spirit is at all times, because it really changes now. You know, I'm 52 years old, so I'm seeing the world in a whole different way now. You know, and but yet I stand firm in it and super inspired all the time now. So it's like, you know, look, I'm literally beautifully all over the place in every aspect of the way.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I got a question for you, man, because you
Yeah.
definitely read one of my favorite songs, Merry Go Round, Music Soul Child.
Yeah. Yeah.
The phenomenal situation about that song, did you ever think that a rapper will go back and sample that song and bring it back within the last 5 years?
Well, you know, it is surprisingly, it's probably the most out of my songs. It's probably the most sampled. We get sample clearances for the song all the time. Even JID sampled it.
Yeah,
On
that's
his
exactly who I was talking about.
Yeah, that's on his last album, and it was crazy. You know, it's surprising too. One of my friends, once an amazing producer named Jermaine Mobley, he grabbed like a playlist of songs of people who use the chords or people who use the melody, but never like clear like I know by no means am I like going, oh, we're suing you, but just I took it as a compliment. That like the bum 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 da 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 da, like how many people use that melody, and what I would tell you is that Summer Walker 2 years ago, I think for her last project, she did a song where she literally took the basis of Merry Go Round but just rewrote the lyrics. And I think she might have kept the same hook, but for whatever reason, they didn't use it on the album. We cleared it very quickly. We was like, oh, my God, yes, use it, you know.
Oh, yeah, she was at a peak.
But, yeah, so, and for whatever reason, she didn't use it. I still had a demo, which I love. But, you know, writing one of these songs that you feel like is just timeless. The crazy thing is that song wasn't a single. You know, they didn't release it as a single, but it's a song that music pretty much has to sing or sings at every show still, and that really speaks for how impactful. But when I tell you, the crazy thing is when we did that song, I had a little bedroom studio, little small studio, little equipment, and he didn't even have a record deal at the time. You know, he just was such a phenomenal singer. His approach was unlike anything I've ever seen a singer. So I always wanted to just, hey man, let's come over and work on some music. We would work on stuff at a Touch of Jazz, which was phenomenal, Jazzy Jeff Studios in Philly. But Merry Go Round, we were just cutting a little bedroom studio. We went to go see, it started thundering, so we had to stop. We went to go see Gladiator, the movie. We went to the movies and then came back and finished recording. We didn't know what we had, man. We were just trying to, you know, make a great song and make something impactful. And, you know, the fact that people are still singing it is really an honor.
Beautiful. So, since we're talking about, you know, clearing samples and whatnot, do you feel like the sampling era right now, right? So many artists that come in, sample so many old school songs. Do you feel like it's a little bit oversaturated with the sampling thing kind of happening?
No, because it kind of brings things back to normal. And sure, with everything, and even with AI, which is like super popular now, you're going to have people who are super simplistic with it, who are like just sampling in the basic need and like not putting any creativity to it. But then you're going to find people who are going to really, really sample, like really chop things up, really reinvent and, you know, reinvigorate a feeling. And I feel like that's the same thing we're going to get eventually with AI. You know, you're going to find the Jay Dillas, the Pete Rocks, the Primos, who are not just sampling, but like reinventing how you would approach music, you know. So I think I kind of give it grace because music is always changing. And I think even now, someone's sitting in a studio right now trying to figure out what's the next thing. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Like, you know, I'm excited for what's next. I'm always open to see, you know, what someone else is thinking and how they can reapproach the combination of words as well as the combination of rhythm. So, you know, and look, I sampled, you know, people before me sampled this and that. So I'm like, man, find your way. You know, find your way, and hopefully we can continue to make some great music out of it.
Absolutely.
All right, speaking of the AI situation, I know it's been, you know, kind of up in the air for the past couple of years about AI created songs compared to actual songs that are, you know, originally constructed, human wise. How
Yeah.
what's your take on using AI, and do you feel like it's kind of ruining that creativity for artists, or is it, something that you see as could be a helpful tool when it comes down to the creating process of songs, compared to just letting the AI actually have its way out here in the mainstream?
AKA DaeTV.
DaeTV.
Some DaeTV.
You are now watching the DaeTV Network.
Well, I think the crazy part is it's already here. Like it's way more infiltrated the business more than we care to admit, and that's a bit scary. I will tell you, I'm more fearful of AI as a whole from like every sci-fi movie has warned me for the last 50 years. That we're like headed for the Matrix. I'm probably more worried about that, but yet at the same time.
Hello.
Sorry, I muted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
I'm talking too fast and mute myself. When I remember, like, if you study history, like when the drum machine first came out.
Mm-hmm.
When the drum machine first came out, live drum musicians were outraged. They thought they were going to lose their jobs. They thought it was going to hurt music.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same kind of fear. But once again, when you had the people like Jay Dillas, the people like Pete Rocks, who could say, okay, well, let me flip this and let me show you what I would do with this machine. And I think the great part, especially black people, man, we reinvented how turntables were used. That's how we got to scratching. So I will tell you that AI is only taking from what they can only study what has been done. So if you want music to grow, you can't just depend on AI, because AI is only pulling from what has already happened. It can't give you something. It can give you a polished version of what has happened, and that could be really magical and fun. But I've been in a business where we have, and I mean this, like I've worked on music, and we've taken it to meetings where people didn't understand it for 5 years. And then 5 years later, they're like, oh my God, I understand what this is now, and that's now the norm. I had the privilege of watching Kanye West when no one understood him, to where he became when he became the biggest rapper at Def Jam. I was in those offices. So, the one thing is that the only way for things to grow is for things to be tried that haven't been tried. Now, you can manipulate AI, bring your creativity, maybe manipulate it that it can maybe create something that has not been done some way, but I don't think we've figured that out yet. The scariest part, though, would be probably from the singing standpoint, like having AI just sing. And the scary worry with that would be if the world chose it. The world said, I don't mind. I don't care if it's Eric Roberson or a computer. I just want it to sound good. We get into a risky area because there's no parameters, there's no bars or rules that will hold it from like that just becoming the norm. If it becomes a money grab, if labels are saying, well, I don't have to pay anybody if I just have the computer do it, we can get into a scary moment where actors aren't being used and things of that nature. But I don't really worry about it that much because it's not advanced enough to really send us where music should be going next. It can only kind of show us, it can only kind of give us what music is doing now.
Right. No, I totally understand that. I feel like with AI, I'm on the kind of side where I understand using it as a tool. You know what I'm saying? For example, like we use Autotune, we use Melodyne, all those things. So I kind of look at it in that aspect, but to a point where there's well, I know the Grammys aren't allowing it now, but like if a possibility that an AI artist might win an award or something, that's why I feel like it's just drawing the line a little bit. So I'm for AI, but I'm also against it at the same time. If that makes sense.
What I'm mostly against is all of my cousins and friends are typing, who don't do music at all, are typing in songs and sending me songs all the time. Like, what you think? You think I got to say? I'm like, hey, type away, but like you have to send it to me. Like I really do this for a living. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm really putting words together. I'm really putting chords together. I have no problem with it. Like, trust me, it's like I believe that that's part of experimentation and stuff like that. But you know, my cousins at family reunion playing their demos now. I'm not really here for it. Because truth be told, they're not even digging that deep. Like, they just give me some country song about, you know, sitting on a patio eating Twizzlers. I'm like, well, if you're going to give a prompt, give something deeper. Like, man, show me a song I wish I wrote, you know?
Right.
You know, so, but that's the fun part about it, man. I got everybody send me songs now.
That's hilarious.
All right, so would you ever, if somebody actually, like one of your family members, delivered the good song through AI, would you remake it?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I would think that first of all, if it's the greatest song that has ever been written ever in life, I mean, I'm an artist. I love the art of combining words, period. But once again, it's not pulling. It's pulling from the words that have been combined before, right? So it's hard for me to think that it's going to be the best song. And I've written tens of thousands of songs. I mean, literally, I've been writing songs since my early teenage years and been recording songs since, like, so I got to college, right, nonstop, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs. It's very rare that I hear a song that I haven't written. You know what I mean? That's why I'm always looking for the song that I wish I wrote. So yeah, but I mean, if they were to bring a song that was like, oh my God, how did you get this? I probably would sing it. You know what I mean? 'Cause I'm not one. I don't want to be the old man on the porch. You know, like, man, the way we used to do it. You know, it's like,
yeah.
You know, if times are changing and things, whatever, like, the way we've been able to stay around is adjust. Like, social media wasn't around when we first started. You know, we had to promote in a whole different way. So we had to adjust. Auto-tune wasn't here. Digital recording wasn't here. So, and I had a lot of friends who were like, no, I'm not doing that. And they're not doing music anymore. You know, and for me, I want to grow old doing this. I want to adjust and fall in love with everything that everybody's doing too. So
absolutely.
I think you have to kind of keep your mind open.
Okay. So getting back into the tour, this will be your fourth tour, right? Because I'm reading you had the Independent Pioneer in the early 2000s, and you had Mr. Nice Guy, and that era, and then you had your 30th anniversary tour in the 2024-2025 time frame, and then now Beautifully All Over the Place. What's the difference of touring now compared to before? Because I mean, respectfully, you did say your age, so is there like a difference to where, like, the way you perform, the way that you prepare for it? Let us know a little bit the inside of that.
So, you know, for me, interesting enough, the themes change. We tour almost nonstop, you know, but to answer your question, I'm 52, so I have to be more mindful health-wise. You know, I might have to. Actually, respectfully, I'm in better vocal shape than I was when I was 30. I didn't know. I had a reflux issue back when I was younger. I actually had to have vocal cord surgery probably about 13 years ago. Okay. And it's helped tremendously. You know, my doctor says that we're vocal athletes, so you have to realize that a lot of times before an artist gets on stage, they're in that dressing room sometimes just trying to get their voice ready for the 2 hours that they're about to push their body to really high levels. The main thing that really changes is that, you know, I have 18 albums, so there's a lot of music that people want to hear. You have to kind of figure out what kind of crowd you have. Do I have a crowd of people who, you know, love the album from 15 years ago, or do I have a crowd of people who just discovered me from the last album? So you try to figure out what mix of songs you're doing. But the main thing is, you know, when I was touring probably 20 years ago, when I came to Minnesota, I probably would stay for a couple of days. I wasn't married. I didn't have kids, so I would just kind of invest in the city a little more, find a great food spot. Where now, you know, I got 3 young kids at home and a wife with a schedule as well. So it's very rare that I get a chance to really spend more than 24 hours in a city. But the beautiful thing is I've been to Minnesota so many times that, you know, I've built friendships with a ton of people. There's going to be some familiar faces in the crowd. You know, we'll still have a certain place. We have some time to eventually, you know, get some good food and things of that nature and still see the city. But the days of really spending a lot of time in a certain city, that kind of changed. There were times where I would maybe, like I said, when we do an overseas tour, I might stay in London for 2 weeks before we did a show. Now we pretty much get there and do the show and move on, unless we're doing a family vacation, which happens a lot. Matter of fact, my middle son, my son Ryder, will be with me in Minnesota. So when the summer starts, I bring one kid with me on each leg of the run. So he's coming to Detroit with me and Minnesota with me, and then I would fly home and grab another one of my kids, and we're going to go to the next batch of shows.
I love that. Bringing the family with you. That's beautiful. So with the tour right now, right? What's been your favorite? And I know you're still on the tour, but what's been your favorite city so far?
Oh, that's a great question. We just did Baltimore, and I would say so far that might be the favorite just because it's so close to home. So many friends. I went to Howard University, so had a lot of my Howard friends there.
All right, shout out to you and the HU fam.
Yeah. You know, I would say I almost say LA we did LA as well about a month and a half ago, and I would say that I was a musical theater major, so I was in fine arts, and all my actor friends and singer friends came to the LA show. That was I'll probably say that was my favorite because after the show, man, we sat and talked for, I hadn't seen everybody in so long, so the fact that everybody came to the show, that really meant a lot to me.
Okay, beautiful. And then also with touring, there's the fun parts of it. You're traveling to all these different places, meeting new fans, and like you said, bringing your kids and family along with you sometimes. What's probably one of the hardest things of touring?
Right now, because of the World Cup and inflation, is just the prices. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, as independent artists, we control everything, right? So I'm in New York right now with my band, and there's hotel rooms for every single band member. And this one, clearly, we're not flying, but flights that were $250, $300 are now sometimes $500, and even hotel rooms. We're doing a city. Let's see. I have no problem saying it. We're doing Chicago in a month, and we're staying in the same place we always stay at, which is usually about $170 a night. I think the room is like $400 right now because of the World Cup and other things. So, you figure out these things. You got to weigh who you're bringing and how many people you're bringing and stuff like that. Where I don't think we always have to worry about that all the time, but it's certain seasons. You got to be mindful. The business part at times can be a little tough. A bass player missing a flight, or just the troubles that can show up sometimes with the sound. We have a saying: all is well once on stage, and that just shows that because off the stage is real life, right? So the guitar player might be having an issue with his girlfriend, and they're arguing, right off, in the other dressing room. And it's like, oh man, he's going through it. But when he get on stage, he's gonna play his heart out, right? So, whatever drama, craziness that might be happening, life is life, right? But all is well once on stage. And as soon as you hear, ladies and gentlemen, Eric Roberson, we're here to serve. We're here to be. We close off everything else, and whether I got a cold, whether the keyboard player sprained his hand playing basketball the day before, all that goes away, man, and we just play and just have a good time.
All right.
Sure.
I got two more questions for you.
Yeah.
First question is, with all the new artists coming up, who's one of your favorite new artists that just recently touched the game within the last 10 years?
Ooh, I mean, I love
especially on the
Walker's
R&B tip.
Yeah, no doubt. I love Summer Walker's approach. I feel like she has the freedom. She's not Erykah Badu, but she's what Erykah Badu would be if Erykah Badu came out now. I feel like she's a certain freedom. Like, I don't care what y'all think. This is what I want to say. But just her writing is A1. I think what's his name? Duran Bernard, man, is phenomenal. And I've known him for years. He opened for me. We had questions for me like, hey man, what do you think about this and whatever. So I watched his growth and even being a artist, from the queer community, but yet like just completely free and building an audience that is straight and queer. I think is great for music. Is beautiful for music. And I think he's got an incredible album out right now. Man, I mean, there's so many people I can name. What's my guy? See, now you about to make me go on my playlist right now. But man, Lucky Day's last album.
I love Lucky
and
Day.
Vocals, just man, what a singer! Like what a singer. And golly, what's my man with the lower voice?
Oh, Giveon.
Kind of like Giveon. Oh my God.
Yes.
Giveon, but Giveon is one of those things where, you know, it just lets you know we're in good hands because Giveon's not trying to. He's not respected like the Lucky Days is what I expect. Singers who are I'm trying to sing higher than you. I'm trying to give you the most incredible riffs and whatever. And he's probably A1 of that, right? He's killing like A1 vocals. And then Giveon's a lower, huskier voice, way more mature than for his age. And he's writing from these perspectives of heartbreak. And it's like, where did you come from? What in the world? But the fact that we still can acknowledge something that's different, something that's beautiful, that a Giveon could still carve out his space in his business makes me know that we're in good hands.
Absolutely.
All right. And my last question, because this is the good purple state, Prince or Michael Jackson?
Okay, so listen, I grew up on both of them. Diehard Michael Jackson and Prince fan. My answer is Prince. I have, my kids now are really discovering, and my youngest son is a huge Michael Jackson fan, but he's slowly, like, my Prince influence is slow. Like, hey, you can't listen to this without listening to that, right? But what I will tell you that both are super influential to me, but when I sit down, if I'm pulling from either one of them, I'm probably pulling from Prince more. You know, and also if I'm listening, I listen to a lot of Michael Jackson, especially with my kids. But if I have my way, I'm pulling from Prince. And I will say this also. Side note, and I probably have, and I'm saying this to somebody in Minnesota, arguably the biggest Prince collection of almost anybody you probably could speak of. I have not only all the albums, and mostly not on CD, but also on vinyl, but I have tour CDs, I have demo tapes, I have the highest collection you could possibly imagine. Even versions like, so he released, when he did Under the Cherry Moon, he did an album called Parade. But in London, he released a version for London people called Charade. I have that album. I'm a Prince head for real.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to have you. If you're in Minnesota and you listening, if you got anything better than what he got, let us know.
Hey, come on. we battle. I'll show you my collection. You show me your collection.
Right.
I feel you.
All right, we got a few more questions for you because I know you're a busy man. You're on tour, so you got to get your rest and all of that. So we appreciate you coming, being a part of the show today. But so as we were speaking on some of those R&B artists that you said that you see and that you love what they're doing, in the R&B evolution now, what do you think a lot of artists are missing?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't really know. I mean, I think it's tough. I do know. Because now everyone has the opportunity to release records, right? So we have records coming out from everywhere. We have artists who are signed. We have independent artists who are seasoned. And then you have just somebody in the garage, 15-year-old making a song right now, and they're like, because there's a ability to release it, it's getting released. And some of that gets attention, too. Like, we're not necessarily in the music business now. We're in the attention business. So that's just where we are. That's what social media has changed us to. So now we're writing now for the quicker attention more than the slow build. And there's a plus side and a minus side to that. But what we're really, really missing is sometimes like vocal production, like having a vocal producer really in the studio to like push you over that next hump, and really A&Ring. Like A&Ring was a true gift. Like when you listen to Mary J. Blige's record, it was A&R, right? Like there was a reason why they were able to experiment and find a certain style. And I could go through certain records that like, this is a great record. It's an even greater record because who A&R'd it, right? And like bringing out the best and finding the best. And sometimes now, respectfully, now we have too much, because we're independent, a lot of us, we have too much control. So it's like, I like this song, I'm putting it on my record. But should it be on the record? You know, is it really a good song? Does it hold? So I think some of that is missing. A&Ring and vocal production, because now vocal production has been replaced by auto-tune a lot now, and Melodyne and stuff like that. Now it's like we think that polishing is perfecting. But if we go back to like a lot of records back in the day, take a Mary J. Blige, I can't say was vocally correct. I can't say that sometimes she was flat and sharp, but we didn't care. It felt good, you know. Now we're way more sticklers on that stuff, and I think some of the emotion sometimes gets traded away because of that.
Absolutely. All right, we got 2 more questions and we are done here. First one.
Yeah, no problem.
When people look back at Eric Roberson's career, your career, what do you hope they say you gave to music?
Ooh, that I improved it somehow. That I improved, because not just from, I've been an advocate, not just from a writer, but just from a business side. I feel like, you know, I teach songwriting and music, and I tell students that they're not responsible for the next 20 years. Like we've handled the last 20 years, and I think some of the things are fairer now because of the things that we advocated for. We have independent artists now winning Grammys, which was unheard of when I was starting out, you know, and even having a platform. So I would think that just that I left music in a better place, that I, you know, stretched and wrote some songs that people wish they wrote, you know, and left one hell of a career, you know. I think that's the main thing, you know. I think my story is I was an artist who was about to be forgotten. I was about to miss out on a lot, you know, just not be heard. And I fought to get here. I fought to be heard. And I think that I hope that inspires a lot of people to make sure they don't stop fighting.
Wow, I love that. I love that. All right, now we got to play a little quick game. It's Mount Rushmore. So if you can give us your Mount Rushmore of R&B music, but what we'll do is, because Mount Rushmore only gives you 4 people, we'll do men and then we'll do women. So if you can give us your Mount Rushmore of R&B music, yes, let us know. You can start with the men first if you like, and then go into the women.
Stevie Wonder, number 1. Oh, man, this changes by the second, mind you. And this is just literally, like if you asked me this 10 minutes ago, Stevie Wonder, number 1. Let's put Prince on there, number 2.
Is Prince considered R&B, though?
Yeah.
I thought he was.
I would say so. You can say that.
Okay.
You can say he's pop. I mean, to me, Michael Jackson is R&B in my personal opinion. But you know what? I'll help you. Let's take Prince off for that, because that will help me. Because then I can really pay homage to a lot more people. Stevie Wonder, Bill Withers, Luther Vandross. It's going to be between Donny Hathaway and Marvin Gaye.
Wow.
And I'm going to say today, Marvin Gaye would shout out to Donny Hathaway.
Okay.
I'll say that. But Bill Withers, oh my goodness gracious, I love Bill Withers. You know what I mean, as well. So yeah, I mean, that would be that. Women, it starts with Aretha Franklin. It starts with Aretha Franklin. Now, I don't know if Whitney Houston is pop or R&B. I'm going to say she's pop, so that we can just throw her name in there but not include her.
Okay.
Aretha Franklin, Anita freaking Baker. Oh, my God.
That's a good one.
I don't know if Shardae can go in there, because I don't know if she fits under pop. And so Shardae is a band. Let's not do Shardae, because Shardae is a band. We're talking about
Okay. And I'm saying
a
she's
singer.
more like jazz and blues, right? A little bit.
Yeah, she's all of it. She's all of it. But okay, Shaka Khan. And it's so. I'm gonna give somebody. Oh my God, this. So I was gonna say Dionne Warwick, but I was gonna say Gladys Knight, who is my God. Like that's the four. But I'm gonna give a shout out to Dionne Warwick because she doesn't get enough shine for how incredible. Let me tell you something. For everyone listening, do yourself a favor and just go listen to early Dionne Warwick records because I think we forgot how dope she was. Like she was just the architect of just like amazing singing, amazing arrangements, and she was the one. She was the one in the late 60s, early 70s that would really just like paving the way, music, especially as a black artist. Maybe not fully R&B and what we look at as R&B, but I think I'm carving out Dionne Warwick as my last one.
Okay. You know what? Okay. I know I said two, but can we do one more Mount Rushmore? Because this is also to bring back, I'm bringing back the verses again because it was boy bands, right? So if you can give us your Mount Rushmore of boy bands.
R&B groups.
R&B groups, boy bands.
Okay, I'm gonna say because boy bands and R&B groups are two different things, but I could do that. But okay, Mount Rushmore, Earth, Wind, and Fire has to be on it. Has to be on it.
Rest in peace, Clive Davis.
We're in trouble here. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give you bands, and then I'm gonna give you sing groups because that's the only way I can do it.
Okay.
Bands, I'm gonna say Earth, Wind, and Fire, Parliament, Funkadelic.
Ooh.
That's those two right there are anchored. Like that's anchor. And then I'm gonna take. There's so many. Give me Tony.
Okay.
And give me Mint Condition.
Okay.
There we go.
Now give me now let me give you the groups real quick because give me the Temptations.
Yes.
Give me and I have to skip the four. Temptations, Four Tops. That's the same. Give me Temptations. Shouts to Four Tops. Give me Boyz II Men. Because we forget how incredible Boyz II Men is. Give me Jodeci.
Yes.
And give me Guy.
Ooh,
Jesus. Okay. The fire lineup.
Jodeci, give me Guy.
Fire lineup.
If I'm talking about my singing groups, give me those four.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Eric Roberson, for coming through and hanging out with your crew, the Wake Up Morning Show. Y'all, don't forget, he will be at the Dakota in Minnesota, July 2nd. So make sure you go to dakotacooks.com to get your tickets. You don't want to miss this show. It is going to be undeniable. Thank you again one more time, Eric Roberson. We really appreciate you. This was an honor, honestly. When they told us yeah.
Gotta give you a clap, man.
There you go. Yeah, when they told us that, like, you were willing to have an interview with us, I started jumping in joy. I said, who? The Mr. Eric Roberson himself. So, yeah.
No, this was a blast. I look forward to doing it again. This was a great question.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, if you want to stick around, listen to the show, I'm going to send you our website. We're going to be playing, I think we got some Eric Roberson in the chamber that we're going to play as well, and then just some more artists that you've written for and all that, just to, kind of give you your congratulations and your flowers. So if you want to continue to listen in, I'll send you our website so you can be a part of the rest of the show.
Please do, man. Please do, and congratulations on everything you guys are working on.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Wake up.
All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get into a little bit of music, but we'll be right back.